The early evening air was cool, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. Sunlight filtered through the tall trees and settled over the wide stretch of land known simply as White Horse Ranch. Miles of fencing cut through the rolling terrain, separating open pastures from thick forests. The wood was old in places, warped by years of sun, rain, and snow. But it still stood tall, just like the family that kept it standing. Taima drove a post into the ground with steady, powerful swings of the hammer. Each strike landed with purpose. Kaya knelt nearby, tightening the wire with practiced hands. His movements were quick, precise, efficient. They worked in silence for a moment, the only sounds the wind through the trees and metal against wood. "You hear Brûlé on the radio last night?" Kaya asked. Taima nodded. "Yeah, the old song still hit harder than anything else out there," Kaya smirked. "Dad says our blood remembers even when our minds forget." Taima paused, resting the hammer against his shoulder. He's not wrong. Both brothers were Native American by blood, by culture, by spirit. Their heritage wasn't a story passed down in books. It was lived, in the music they listened to, in the way they treated the land, in the quiet respect they showed the world around them. Kaya gazed to the north in the direction of homes. "Sometimes I wonder what it was like, before the fences, before the cabins." Taima's gaze drifted toward the tree line. "Dad doesn't talk about that time much." "No," Kaya agreed, "but the land does." A breeze swept across the field, rustling the grass. The brothers both felt it, not fear, not danger, just presence, like something ancient resting beneath their boots. Taima drove the last post into the soil. "There," he said, "fence'll hold another year." Kaya stood, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Everything here holds. That's the thing about this place." They started walking back toward the cabin, unaware that the land was already listening to them, just as it had for centuries. "I've noticed that you're spending more time at the lake," Kaya said to his brother. "Keep in mind what Dad has said about too much exposure. Should I worry, Pai?" Taima's grip tightened slightly on the wire. It helps me think." "Or it helps you change," Kaya said. Taima finally looked at him. His eyes were calm. "Too calm." "You're changing too," Kaya laughed nervously. "Not like you." "And what's with the funny voice? You know that gets me every time," Kaya said with a bit of a giggle in his voice. A long pause followed. "You remember what Father told us?" Kaya asked. Tiaman nodded, and in unison they spoke. "Power isn't the danger. Losing control is." In the distance, a black SUV pulled into the long drive leading to the main cabin. Nathan Whitehorse had returned from the city. To the outside world, Nathan was a respected high-ranking casino manager known for his sharp mind, influence, and business precision. To the people on this land, he was something else entirely. A protector, a provider, a presence. Kaya watched the vehicle disappear behind the cabin. "He doesn't look like someone who's lived for centuries," Taima allowed himself a small, cooing smile. "He doesn't age like we do." Kaya leaned against the rolling shed door, lowering his voice. "Do you ever wonder where all this started?" Tiama's gaze drifted towards the distant lake, hidden by a line of trees. "Every day." "What if the land doesn't belong to us anymore?" Kaya asked. "What if we belong to it?" Taima stepped closer to him. "We protect it. That's what Father taught us." Kaya nodded, but doubt lingered in his eyes. Kaya stared toward the distant tree line. "You ever notice how the water never freezes?" Taima frowned. "In winter? Yeah. Doesn't matter how cold it gets. That lake stays open." "Dad says it's fed by underground heat." Kaya shook his head. "Heat doesn't make water feel alive." Tiama studied him. "You went down there again, didn't you?" Kaya hesitated. Just to the edge, the wind shifted, the grass bent low. When you stand near it, Kaya continued, you don't just hear the water, you feel it, like it's watching you back. Taima lowered his voice. You think it knows us? Kaya's jaw tightened. Something does. A distant splash echoed faintly from the forest. Taima exhaled slowly. Dad keeps that place protected for a reason. Kaya nodded. He says water remembers what the land forgets. Another pause. If that's true, Taima said, then it remembers everything. Kaya glanced toward the cabin. Dad protects it from those who would abuse its power, Taima said with a prideful stance. Could you imagine, really imagine the damage that could be done if it wasn't protected? I don't want to think about it, Kaya responded. I don't want to think about it at all. The silence of the land did not last. It shattered. Far beyond the tree line, a low thunder rolled across the open highway. It wasn't the sound of a storm or the wind twisting through the hills. It was sharper than that. Mechanical. Furious. A motorcycle. Alicia Whitehorse tore down the asphalt like a black arrow, her custom race bike screaming beneath her. The engine's roar echoed off the concrete barriers as she leaned forward, her body molded to the machine. At over 100 miles per hour, the world blurred into streaks of light and shadow. Lanes became suggestions. She weaved through traffic with impossible precision, slipping between bumpers and mirrors as if the road itself were guiding her. Horns blared behind her, headlights flashed in warning, but Alicia never slowed. Inside her helmet, her breath was steady. Her heart was calm. Her focus absolute. The digital display climbed higher. 110, 120, 130. The wind tore at her hair, rattling against the visor as she leaned into a sharp curve. The bike responded instantly, smooth and obedient, as though it were an extension of her own body. She laughed softly to herself. Then the scenery began to change. The city lights faded into behind her. Concrete gave way to forest. The air grew heavier, cooler, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. Alicia eased off the throttle just enough to feel the shift. This land always felt different, older, like it was holding its breath. The road narrowed. The trees closed in. Behind her, the highway vanished into silence. Ahead of her, Whitehorse Ranch waited. The place that whispered to her in dreams. Her hand brushed the side of her helmet. A flash of imagery slammed into her mind. Water, stone, a shadow beneath the surface. Alicia staggered slightly, catching herself on the bike. Not now, she whispered. But the visions didn't care about timing. They never did. The familiar path led to the Whitehorse property. She rolled of the throttle. Speed gave way to silence. The land welcomed her like it always had. Alicia removed her helmet, letting her long black hair fall free from the restraints that had held it tight. The soft evening breeze caught the strands and carried them across her shoulders as the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the land in gold and shadow. She was striking, an incredibly beautiful woman clad in a sleek black racing suit that fit her like armor. But her presence felt distant, disconnected from the quiet world around her. Her eyes weren't taking in the trees, the open land, or the stillness of Whitehorse property. They were somewhere else. The visions still ruled her thoughts, flashes of something ancient, something powerful, pulling her focus away from reality. Behind her, unseen and unnoticed, the land waited. And whatever had called her here was just beginning. Inside her mind, the visions surged again. Not memories, not dreams, something else. She saw the cavern, towering stalactites hung from the ceiling like jagged fangs, each one glowing faintly with a pale, unnatural light. Their surfaces shimmered as if alive, pulsing with energy that didn't belong to the earth. Floating between them were orbs, spheres of soft, radiant light drifting silently through the darkness, illuminating the vast underground chamber like wandering stars. The air itself seemed to glow, as if the cavern was breathing light instead of darkness. The cavern opens like a hidden cathedral beneath the earth, its vast ceiling bristling with thick stalactites that glow from within, alive with soft bioluminescence. The light bends and dances with each movement, creating the sense that this place exists outside of time, quiet, watching, and aware. It feels less like a cave and more like a vision unfolding, as though the earth is revealing something it has kept hidden for centuries. The flashes came faster now, brighter, stronger. Alicia felt the pull in her chest, a silent call drawing her towards something hidden beneath the land, something ancient, something waiting. She exhaled slowly, unaware of how tightly her hands had clenched at her sides. She was unaware of the change that had come over her, unaware that something had crossed a threshold inside her, something that would not be undone. Behind her, the land remained still, peaceful, unassuming, but beneath the earth, far below her feet, something ancient stirred. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Hit the like button and stay tuned for episode 3, A Good Day Drawn Closed.